Hello and welcome to another update video about DOT. Polkadot continues to move sideways there in the current range. It's quite boring at the moment. The altcoin's quite weak today. Bitcoin a little bit stronger, but actually overall, not too much has happened overall. So also here, DOT still in the pattern as before. I'm talking about the two scenarios here that we mentioned before that are still relevant. So in the yellow count, basically, in which we're dealing with a diagonal pattern to the upside, we completed 3 upside moves into the December highs. It's a 3-wave move, a very deep wave 4 in a leading expanding diagonal. Very optimistic count that is, or I should rather say a bit of a hopium count. I don't fully believe it because expanding diagonals are rare, and and the wave 4 was a bit too deep to be reliable, and there is also not much happening here. Yeah, I mean, what I really need to see, it's a complete mess basically. Okay, so to focus on higher, continue to focus on higher, first of all, the last swing low needs to hold. So I want to give you very clear parameters here. So micro support is basically at $6.60. As long as that level is holding, I mean, you might want to, that depends. I mean, for me, the probabilities here are very, very balanced on this chart. Very balanced. The chart shows another low is highly likely, but we can also, I mean, I guess, if Bitcoin is in the mood, and continues to rise, the potential is there for DOT to follow. It also so far hasn't shown me anything that would suggest, however, that there is a lot of strength in this move. It's a 3-wave rally. I just want to point out, okay, we've got a very clear support level around $6.60. And if this is already a breakout, and if we are moving in line with a more bullish structure here, then the third wave would need to reach minimally 839, better 860. If it gets to 860, to that green line, and basically gets to the level of that previous X-wave high, I'm going to make the direct breakout the clear favorite. At the moment, it's not that one more low is the clear favorite, but I have no clear favorite at the moment, okay? I can only point out the relevant parameters and the two structures which allow for both scenarios. We're basically within a structure that allows for one more low, but also a direct breakout already, okay? Why is that? Because first of all, we only have 3 waves up, so we don't have very clear probabilities. Nevertheless, both wave counts are bullish. Yeah, I give both of them the benefit of the doubt. The problem is it's a 3-wave rally into the December highs, so easily possible that we're breaking to new bear market lows. That, however, is not one of the preferred scenarios. In both of the preferred scenarios I show you here, and they are both the most likely scenarios for me, they're just, the probabilities between them are very balanced. We should see more upside. It's just a question is, do we get one more low or not? I think that is the best way to phrase it and to frame it. If one more low happens, it should ideally happen before we break above $7.95, because that's key resistance, okay? And then a break below 660 would confirm for me that the wave C to the downside is unfolding and could target 585 next, possibly even 520, maybe 440, but below 440, that's sort of the last reliable bullish support level here. I really haven't got anything else left that's bullish. But we can allow that C wave to the downside to make another low, and it would still be within a support area, and this might be actually an opportunity area, and from here a C wave to the upside could start. If we are going up a little earlier, then I have no evidence for that at this stage. No evidence at all, other than a few green candles. But first of all, the price hasn't broken above the previous high. We haven't broken resistance. We haven't even reached the minimum expectation for a third wave. So I would like to see a break above that breakout point really here that I mentioned at the X-wave high around $8.60. And then from there, we can track a 5-wave move or a larger 3-wave move. I mean, it depends on the structure. Very difficult to analyze on the micro. So really, it's probably not so good to focus on the micro count itself. When trading anyway, I would suggest nobody to trade a count, because you don't trade the count, you trade the levels. If there is a decent setup, I don't see a decent setup, okay? Maybe that's also for anybody who's new on, here and who's new to Elliott Wave. Tracking waves, they are not the same as setups, okay? So a setup, typically a good setup could be a a very clear wave 4, like what we had with the on the rune chart, or a 1-2 setup, maybe a clear AB setup like this one, then at least we would have a good reward to risk ratio when we get another low. This here is sort of in the middle of nowhere, and we're just tracking the waves to see when clarity emerges. Yeah, most of the time charts aren't very clear, but when there is clarity, that's why we analyze to find out when. Well, then we get a good setup. I don't see a good setup at the moment, really, I don't. Because yeah, you could argue maybe the resistance area is a short trade area, but then we are just above a support trend line. I would not really want to short above a trend line. So it's like, you know, we're just in the middle of nowhere at the moment, just waiting for a little bit of clarity, really. And these are the worst updates because there isn't really much new stuff to talk about, unfortunately. Hopefully it still helped. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.